change his shirt.
She won't change her shirt.
We refuse to change our shirts.
I bought my shirt first.
So we're gonna be Twinkies today. Hey y'all! We're making fun of me, isn't it funny? Okay. You gotta laugh at yourself, that's what we've decided. So this is what this is about, duh. Sorry.
Whenever you get nervous, just kiss me.
When I posted a One Book July update, I mentioned that we live in a church. It was behind this wall, or in front of this wall, in fact. And some of y'all wanted to know, why do you live in a church? That's interesting. I didn't say weird, it's interesting. So we were just gonna share why we live in a church.
We're a part of the Rev Ministries, which is kind of an umbrella ministry for other pastors and leaders. The Rev started a few years ago with just a prayer meeting, and they had an outreach downtown at an event in our city called First Friday, where the streets are just filled with all kinds of merchandise and vendors and people selling
Food.
stuff, and the bars are open. People just go down there for a good time, and the Rev had a table down there that just says free prayer, and so just weak and broken people and people that needed prayer would just go to the booth and
or people who were like, free prayer? Isn't prayer free anyway?
Yeah.
It was an interesting point of topic.
Yes.
It got people to the booth.
They had been sending teams down there to just pray for folks and be a light in a dark place. And one day, an old pastor had stumbled across the booth and asked what was going on. And a long story short, they ended up being given a free building. They were selling the building for $400,000 and ended up giving it to the Rev.
For free!
And it's down on the south side of San Antonio. And they've been using the building for outreach for several different programs that feed the poor and feed children and
clothe people
and clothe
too.
The neighborhood, and we take donations to give back to the neighborhood.
All the people here are self-supporting. Nobody gets paid, and so we all have to support ourselves in the ministry. So that's kind of a different thing. You don't normally hear about that.
Yeah, all the money that comes in goes right back out into the neighborhood, into outreach. Either that or fixing up the building and just building maintenance.
Yeah, we really need $60,000. Our air conditioner is
$60,000.
toast. We have so much that has to be done to this. I'm so thankful for the free building, but it has, like, the air conditioner went out, and that's really hard for the students who live here. There's no AC, so, and it's Texas, y'all. Like, it's hot.
Just before we had reconnected with our friend here, Johnny, both of us were just kind of felt like the Lord was drawing us to a different place in our Christian walk, and a different place in Christian ministry. And so we had the opportunity to scale back from the church a bit and just pray and seek the Lord on what we were to do. And both of us agreed separately and came together that what we were going to do is prayer culture. And if you're not familiar with prayer culture, right now there's a prayer movement just sweeping the globe and the nations of the earth right now, where people are giving themselves, communities and churches are giving themselves to 24/7 prayer just all over the earth.
24/7.
Unceasing, never stopping prayer and worship.
With the music, it's really cool.
It was something that you see in the Old Testament, and it's something that's been a part of biblical and even church history that's just been kind of undergirding the Christian movement and Christian revival. And so we decided that we wanted to be a part of what's going on in the earth with prayer. And so we had decided at that point, we're either moving to a place where there's a prayer house already, or God will do something here. So when we reconnected with our friend who's doing all this outreach,
we were taking a tour of the building.
Yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Yes,
so we were taking a tour of the building, and like the beginning of when he was showing us around, he showed us the sanctuary, and they're like, and you know what? We do service here, but really what we want in here is a 24/7 prayer house, or they didn't call it a prayer house.
Real?
Yeah, we were like, what? Like, that's what we want to do. And so they were praying for somebody to come in and do that. And then I didn't say anything, David didn't say anything, and then we were kind of walking around. You know, this building is huge. It's like 30-something thousand square feet. So I was walking through and I looked into these, we opened the doors to these rooms here where we're standing. There's one here and one over there. And I looked in, and the first thing I thought was like, oh, the beautiful light. There's so much light. I love the light. This would make a great photography studio. I'm thinking all about photography. And then as I'm driving home and after I was just like thinking about it, I was like, man, what if we moved in and what if we helped them with their prayer house and those rooms? I want those rooms. They're so beautiful. And then I wrote him an email that morning, the what if, and that's where the Lord gave me the, what if we're to live with less to give life to more? Because at the time we lived in a fairly large house and I had a lot of space, and these 2 rooms aren't too big. It's hard to get away, but
we get to be close.
Yeah.
It's
been very good for growing our marriage, that's for sure. So it's a good thing. We were super duper excited. We were like, oh my gosh, how do we ask this? How do we ask someone we just reconnected with, can I move into your church? But that's kind of what happened.
I was already thinking in my head when we were doing the tour, man, I would love to live here, because they had mentioned moving in staff members to run outreach programs and run the Bible school that we're doing here. And so I was already thinking that. So she sent me the email on Monday. She's like, what if we sold everything and just went radical and moved in there and ran the prayer house? And I'm like, boy, would I. Because I was already thinking it. I just didn't want to tell her because I thought it would freak her out.
I get freaked out easily.
No, you don't.
I sure do.
Don't say that about yourself.
I really do. Go ahead.
Anyway, so I wrote back, I'm like, yes, let's do it.
No, he wrote back a smiley face, y'all.
Oh, did I write back a smiley face?
You did a colon and a parenthesis, and I was like, what, really?
Okay.
What does that mean?
That was probably just me trying to play it cool, but on the inside, I'm like, yes!
That's
so
funny.
Later on that week, we were in a citywide leaders meeting with pastors and leaders from different churches and nonprofit organizations that do outreach as well in the city. And they all recognize that the foundation of what they're doing and what they want to do in the city is built on prayer and worship. And they were actually talking about in that meeting raising up 24/7 prayer and worship in the whole city, not just one church or one organization doing it, but the whole city coming together for 24/7 prayer and worship. And this was the very thing that we're like, oh, we want to do this. This is definitely where the Lord has called us to. And we were ready to move somewhere unless the Lord was going to build something here.
We were moving somewhere.
And so after that meeting, my friend, Pastor Johnny here, he pulls up his chair and he says, well, what do you guys think? And I just told him straight up, man, I want to sell my house and move in here and run the prayer house. And he says, okay.
And then he paused for a second. He's like,
that was it.
It's that simple. I love my pastor because seriously, he tells you how it is. Like, he does not sugarcoat anything, which has been really good for me because I tend to really care about what people say sometimes. So, anyway.
You're beautiful.
Aww. Pastor Johnny D and all the people here, they were praying for people to want to do prayer here. And so it just totally was like, and y'all know, some of y'all know how that works out, where it's just like everything is lining up, and it's just too coincidental. It is totally God. We are here to facilitate 24/7 prayer. Right now, we're not at 24/7. What are we at right now? We have how many hours in our facility?
We're in the 30s right now.
In our facility, or citywide?
Citywide.
Citywide, we have about 30 hours on the schedule. We have 2 schedules online. And our website, if you care to look at it, is satabernacle.org. Bloop. What's that mean?
Make it pop up right here after I went.
Bloop. I don't even know if your hand's in the frame. Alrighty. So anyway, it's satabernacle.org, and there's 2 schedules on there. There's one schedule for what is happening in this facility. There's also a citywide prayer schedule. Our goal is to get the city, like this whole thing is not about one church. Like, it is about the entire city, all the churches coming together. We've seen denominational walls break down. We have Baptists on the prayer schedule and Methodists. I think we have even some charismatic Catholics. And this is just, it's been wonderful. It's been so cool to see how everybody is coming together.
Don't leave out the Assemblies of God.
Oh, Assemblies of God. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Yeah, and non-denominational. So it's just really neat to see how sometimes those denominations can divide people, but how those walls are coming down to just lift Jesus' name higher. And that is exactly what I want to see. That's what we want to see. That's what our church wants to see, our pastor wants to see, and it's happening, y'all. It is so exciting.
I've got a crazy cool testimony.
Oh, go right ahead. Oh, about the laundromat guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Earlier this week. Oh, you can say it.
So no, I'm not going to say it, but I was just going to say, when we moved in, our windows had tons of glass broken through. We had like rocks all in here because the kids and people from the neighborhood were vandalizing the church. Take it, Dave.
So earlier this week, we met the owner of the laundromat.
Right there.
He's just right there. I can see his roof and air conditioning unit and stuff.
But we can.
Because we're on the 3rd floor of this church.
Yes.
And so I met him earlier, and he's not a Christian, but I was in the back alley and I was smoking chicken with the not like smoking chicken, like in the grill.
Really
the smoking
barbecuing.
chicken. Barbecue chicken.
Barbecue. That's all right. He was smoking some chicken.
No. Anyway, I met the shop owner of the laundromat, and he had found out that I was with the church, and he said, "Man, I'm really glad you guys are here. This has been the best summer we have ever had in this neighborhood because crime's going down, and just the overall atmosphere and just people's general attitudes are just better." And he didn't know what it was, but he attributed it to us being here in this building, doing the outreach, doing the prayers. He's like, "Whatever you guys are doing, just keep doing it because it's working." And so I just thought that was cool to see someone from the outside, someone who lives in the neighborhood, to acknowledge, like, man, what's going on here is really affecting the neighborhood, and this is the best summer we've had in years.
Yeah, we haven't had anybody throw rocks through our windows since, and I mean, no, it's pretty cool. Like, and so we have a ton of stuff going on here. We have like four now, food distribution ministries. We have Meals on Wheels, Food Bank, we have the Kitchen on the Streets, we have Children's Hunger Fund. 4. And so we minister to people in this community. We have a giving closet. We get tons of donations from folks, and we don't charge for anything. We open the doors and say, if you need something, take it, take it, take it. So we've had single moms get like free washers and dryers, stoves. We've had tons of stuff given through here. And then we have an artists ministry. We have the Secret Society of Super Jesus Artists, I think is how it's called. So we have artists that go around and they'll do murals on businesses' walls that they're like, yeah, do that. We want you to do that. And it'll be like
permission.
With permission, of course. We're not vandalizing people's property. But we have like an artist outreach. We have a photography ministry with a couple of photographers called the Beautiful Light Collective, where we offer portrait sessions for families in the neighborhood who can't afford it. And we have this program where we take kids that have kept their grades up and teach them photography. And then we have going into the schools, and we're helping the children to read better, because a lot of their parents are either both working, or it's a single mom and they're working, or they're drug addicts or something. And so the parents aren't able to read with their children. And so their children are really suffering in school. And so we try to go to the school and help those kids out. We're just every way that we can think of. Even just saying hi to the neighbors when we're walking out the dogs and stuff. So we're just trying our best to make an impact in this community, and people are realizing it. It's beginning to be felt, and we're just so thankful that we can be here and be a part of that. And I love Pastor Johnny D, because he knows that the way that we are helping out is by praying for these ministries, for praying. We have 2 ministries that help save the girls from sex trafficking. There's a big sex trafficking industry in this city. Very close. There's a lot of the roots are near our building. So we pray for those folks. And so anyway, it's pretty exciting what's happening. I could go on and on and on about the awesome stuff that's happening, but there you go. That's why we live in a church. We're excited about it. We don't know when we'll move. We're kind of gypsies for Jesus. We kind of just, when he tells us to move, we move. And so I have no clue. I have no clue how long we'll be here. That's all. I don't know how to wrap this up. So thank you guys for being interested in a piece of my personal life and my faith. And I just really hope and encourage you that, again, the living with less to give life to more is the theme of a lot of the stuff that all of us are doing with like the One Book July and all this stuff and the weight loss and really in life. And that's kind of what we're called to do every day. Every day I'm called to live with less of myself and give life to other people, to more around me. So that's what I just want to encourage you with today. Thanks, y'all. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, y'all. Let me start over.
Okay.
A prayer meeting.
You need to pause for a bit so I can edit it. Go ahead.
Pause.